Hello guys. So in this video we will be discussing about widgets, and these are not the widgets that you're thinking. So in Android we have some widgets, like we have on the home screen they put widgets, right? But these are not the widgets that we're discussing about over here. The widgets over here will be the buttons and the displays and radio buttons and all these kind of inputs and input methods that we'll be using. So just let me show you over here. Let us just go to the Android view hierarchy here, and we have app, resources, layout, and what should we do? Activity detail. Okay. So over here you see the text view. This text view is also a widget. So this is what my definition of widget here is. Over here we have something called this floating action button. Okay. So over here, if you see these widgets, right? This is the widgets. These are the widgets that I'm discussing about right now, not the other kind of widgets that we have on Android on the home screen and all. So let me just expand the view so that you can have a better look at it. Yeah. Okay. So what do we have over here? We have text view, we have button, we have toggle button, checkbox, radio button, checked text view, spinner, progress bar, different sizes of progress bar basically, seek bar discrete, quick contact badge, rating bar, switch, space, and then we have text fields. In text fields, we have plain text, password numeric, email, phone, post address, time, date, number, and all these. And then we have layouts, which we will layouts and containers. We will be discussing this about this in the next video. Images and media, yeah, you can count them in. So we have something called image button and image view, which we will be using in our main application, that is the newsfeed application. So we'll be either using image button or image view. Both function very similarly. So yeah, we have something called video view where you can just put videos in your layouts. So I'm not going into details in transitions, and we're not going into all this advanced and custom stuff because it is beyond the scope of our course right now. So text view, this what we have over here. Oh, I cannot click into it. There's a text view. This is a button. This is a special kind of button that was introduced in material design. It's called floating action button. Here you can see, right over here it's written floating action button. Over here we have written as toolbar, and in our content underscore main we should have something called hello world. So let us go into content underscore main. Okay, so we have text view over here. So I'll just explain you the basics of these widgets. So first of all, these widgets have to be inside a layout. Okay, so a layout over here we have a relative layout. So once we are through the layouts chapter, you will understand what layouts are and what different types of layouts are and where and when to use which type of layout. But right now our focus is on widgets, and in the specific we have text view. So we have text view, we have attributes, different attributes. Okay, so over here we have text style, we can configure over here. Okay, so we have Android text style as, let's keep it bold, and let me just run it on emulator also. So we have hello world running over here. Let's just rearrange so that we have better accessibility. Okay, so we just made our this text view as bold. So you can see, have a look, what options do you have, how can you set different properties to this text view or whatever the text we have. So over here we have layout width as wrap content and layout height as wrap content. What this means is the width of this thing will be just from here to here, the span of this width, and height will also be here. So you can add something if you want to add to the right of it and to the bottom of it. Meanwhile, if I would have done this as match parent and match parent, so this would have text view would have taken up the entire space, but the size of it would have been 18 sp only, but it would have still occupied the entire space available to us. It would have spanned to the match parent. Match parent is the entire layout we have over here. That layout is from this height to this height, and from the starting of this width to the end of this width. And again, it's taking too much time to uh, build the entire application. Yes, it's refreshing. Apply changes, restarted activity. As you can see, we have a bold hello world. Yeah, we have a bold hello world. So this is pretty straightforward. You can have a look at whatever options you have over here. So these are all the options that you can put over here. Clickable means if you put it as clickable equal to true, you can just click on it, and yeah, this is pretty straightforward. You can click on it and something you can perform some actions. So this thing, if something, I'll explain you in the buttons tutorial. This thing right now, just stick to the text view and all the properties that we can apply to text view. So first part is declaring the text view in the layout. Okay, so this is, we have content underscore main. So now when we go back to our file Java, my captain newsfeed, and where were we? Were we in detail activity or main activity? So this is our main activity, correct? So we have our main activity. So as I told you, right, whatever this we were doing in the last couple of two videos back, I'll explain it later. This is where I'm going to explain this to you. Okay, so let's say we have a text view. So first part was you have to declare it in the layout file, wherever your layout file is. So we have it as in content underscore main. Okay, now corresponding to this we have main activity. It's inside the main activity underscore main, right? So let's go over here and see what do we, how do we have this thing. Okay, so we have content underscore main. Let us give it some ID also. So Android ID. I'll just copy this from here. Okay, so I did this thing as container underscore content underscore main. So what will happen is, let's say we have declared a text view. Let's name it as first text view, and it's throwing me an error. Why is it? Because I haven't not imported this over here, if you can see. So for Alt and enter in my Mac, and similarly in your Windows or Linux computers, you can just press these buttons over here and you'll get automatic suggestions. So I just want to import this class and click enter. So this imports this class and this is no longer throwing me any error. We have our M first text view. So what happens next? This is the second step, is declaring the text view over here. So now over here we can, inside the on create method, remember, put it inside the on create method, M first text view. It automatically completes for me. Wow. As I said, Android Studio does all of our job literally for us. Equals to. Okay. So now we have find view by ID. We have this method and we will be using this method over here. Did we give any ID to our text? No. So remember, if you want to access your this text view inside your Java classes, you need to give them an ID. So over here, I'm going to give it an ID. Okay. So ID will be text underscore view underscore first. Okay, going back to the main activity over here, and now we know our ID is r dot id dot text. It was capital T. It automatically suggests us what to use. Click enter. Okay. Now cast it to Android text view. So now we have reference to our first text view. So what I want to do is I want to change the text of this text view. So now I can refer it from this object. So I take this object, I put the dot operator, and I put it set a method called set text over here. Sorry for that. Okay, set text. Okay, and as you can see, there are multiple options for set text. We just want the character sequence over here, and let's put the text as my first text. Okay, so let's see what that happens. I'm warning you guys, this might throw an error. I'm purposely doing this thing so that I can make you understand better why this is why it will throw an error. Okay, let us try to run this thing. It's still running. Okay, so by the time this thing is compiling, let me just show you and introduce you to other widgets. Basically, all the widgets will behave programmatically in a similar way. It's just the looks of them will be different. So for the keeping this video short, I'll be just demonstrating you with a text view which I have already almost 6 done, and I'll be showing you a button. So most of the functionality will be same as button. In button, I'll be showing you how to add a click listener, which is the most important part, and it will be similar for all the other views. So once you get the basics of button down properly, once you get the basics of button written down properly, you can apply the same thing to other widgets. Okay, it, as I said, it might throw an error, but it did not. This is the first time this is happening that I am expecting an error and the application is not showing an error. So yeah. But trust me, when you're going to try it, you'll always encounter an error first. You'll have to debug it and then try to run the application 4 to 5 times. Only then you'll be able to get it right in the first time. Okay, so yeah, as you can see, we have my first text, and let me just try and demonstrate using a button. So let's quickly put an activity. Activity is like that I'll be adding a new button over here, and when I add that new button, so I'll be clicking on that. When I click on that button, I am programming it in such a way that my first text will change to a button click text. So a lot of things are happening over here. I'll be explaining step by step. Let me just tell you that first. First of all, first we'll be adding a button over here. So first we'll be defining the button in the main activity file over here, and then inside the main activity file, uh, Inside the content underscore main file, we'll be adding a button over here also, and we'll be assigning that ID to the button. After assigning that ID to the button over here, we'll do find view by ID and we'll put that ID over here. We'll be typecasting it instead of text view, the typecast will be button view over here. And then we will be setting an on click listener to that button. Inside the on click listener, we have the method called on click. When the onClick method is there, inside the onClick method, we will be changing the text and changing the text as button clicked. Okay, so this is a lot to process when I'm saying this like that. Let's get into action and see how it's done. So now I'll tell you, I'll reverse one or two steps over here. So what we need is a button, right? So let's say button M, button, okay, M. So irresistible click button. Okay, so as you can see, this you have, right, it says this button is never used. Let's change that. Let's go into content underscore main. So you can drag and drop buttons over here. Yes, that's Android Studio for you. As I said, Android Studio literally does all your job for you. Okay, so as you can see over here, I'm going to the text section and we have a button over here, as you can see. Okay, so let's assign an ID to this button. Oh, it's already provided over here. So let's change the name of this ID. Let's put it as button underscore irresist. Why did I choose such a horrible spelling? Okay. Okay, whatever. Okay. Okay. So let's put some interesting text over here. All right. So let's us go back to main activity and let's put as M irresistible click button equals find view by id dot. Cool. So now what we need to do is we need to do typecast cast to widget dot android dot widget dot button. Yes, please. And we have it this here. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to set a click listener to the button. So how that is done is we have this button called M irresistible click button. Okay, so M irresistible click button dot set on click listener. All right. Okay, so over here we have to provide a listener to this. So how are we going to provide it is by mentioning it as over here only new on click listener. Okay, so Android automatically generates this thing for us. Don't type yourself, please. Don't put yourself through that much torture. Android will do it for you. So just let the autocomplete do its job. Don't try to be a hero. Okay. So we have the on-click method, right? Now what do we want to do? We want to change the text of M first text view. So let's do that over here. M dot set text. Okay, and let's come up with something interesting to say. I double dare you. Okay. This is just something random that I'm coming up with. Try to have fun while you're programming. It keeps you interested enough. Okay. So let's run this and see what happens. So a button should appear here and I should be able to click that button. And when I click that button, the text should change. Okay, let's do one more thing and try to increase the text size. Maybe later. Okay, I'm bored. Let's do that also. So M first text. Okay, so over here, let's put the size as something like 28. Okay, and M first text view dot set text style. Okay, so I cannot set the style, so we don't have a method for it, so let it be wait satisfied with this. Okay, so dare to click. Oh yeah, I will. So if you click over here, your text changes to I double dare you. Yeah, so as you can see, this our newest code is not compiled yet. So when the newest code is pushed to our application, the text size should also change. So let's wait. Yeah, the newest code is also compiled. No, no, it's not. This is one thing which is very frustrating about Android Studio. Is takes a lot of time to build. Okay, I hope the new build is in place. Yes, the text size is increased and it says I double dare you. I have a really bad sense of humor. Okay, so this is how you can set a button. As you've seen, this on click listener, we set it up last time, right? The action button and over here also. So let's just show you again also. So this was actually quite complicated the last time, and some of you had doubts also. So let's say FAB, floating action button. Okay, over here we set on click listener. Okay, in on click method we created a snack bar. Snack bar is also a widget. So this entire thing you see is a snack bar. It gives you a message and a corresponding action to give with that message. A button. Okay, this is a button with an action. So over here we made a snack bar, and inside the snack bar also on the action we set up an one more on click listener to launch a new activity. So two on click listeners were nested inside each other. That's why this went very complicated. But over here we have a very simple on click listener. We set an on click listener, Android set setup. We have an on click method. Inside the on click method, we let the magic happen. Yeah. So this is it. And should I cover any other widgets? The question is that. So let us see. We have toggle button. Let's drop this off over here. And we have checkbox over here. We have a radio button over here. Oh, I was unable to drop the radio button. Let's go to progress bar. Let's put a progress bar over here. Okay, so let's just try to run this up over here. I can just show you over here. This seriously takes a lot of time. Okay, it says launching activity over here. That means our code is almost pushed over to the app emulator or the Android device. Waiting, waiting, waiting. Oh yes. Okay, so this is a radio button. See, it says on and off. No, this is a switch button. Wait, let me see. This is a toggle button. Yes, toggle on and off. We have a checkbox and we have a progress bar. So if you want something to happen over here, you need to set listeners to these buttons. Set checkbox listener, set on check listener is the method. Okay, so one thing that I forgot to tell you was to see what each widget does and what's the functionality and what the method are there in each widget. Let us just see under documentation and what happens. Okay, so if I click over here, if I click on button Android, okay, load faster. Oh, seriously slow internet. Okay, so we have something like this will come up. Mostly will be your first. Okay, so this is a class and reference for you. So it will tell you what the parent of a button is, what is superclasses, what its subclasses are, indirect subclasses are. Okay, and this will also teach you how to use a button. Yes, yes, even they do it. Okay, now see, self-destruct. They came up with a better name. Okay, so yeah, over here you can see all the public constructors that we have. Over here we can see public methods that we have. And why doesn't it show me some other methods? I have no idea why. Okay, over here we have see the buttons guide, it says. Let's go to the buttons guide. Okay, so you can just, so both of these links I'll provide you in the description. You can see checkboxes, radio buttons, toggle buttons, and spinners. You can read this entire section up. I've given you a demo of some of the basic stuff, but if you want to go into advanced, which you have to, just have a look at these. And that's it for today. See you guys in the next video.